Hi everyone, happy November. I hope you are doing well. I thought that I would make this intro video while I'm shuffling for the next reading. I want to explain something. First and foremost, I want to thank you from beyond my life, honestly, beyond my soul. I am beyond grateful for all of the amazing emails, all of the well wishes, all of the positive energies. What you don't even realize that you did was, and I can't be more grateful. I don't do well with modern medicine. I don't, and it's terrifying because I'm always the one that, they'll say, oh, well, in general. I'm always that one that I'm always the in general that doesn't fit into that. So anything that works for someone else most likely will not work for me. So it's always terrifying, especially with having to deal with this, because I'm like the one that nothing works for. But the one thing that had worked for me, like I said, for 30 years, and people were always amazed, including doctors, that I really didn't come out of remission a lot. And when it did, I could snap it back in. It was never like this. And I knew going into this, when it wasn't getting better, it was getting worse, that something, might really happen here. It was a little terrifying. So I'm glad to say, though, that the minute that I decided to put that out there, I really did feel things switch. So you have no idea how much you absolutely helped me, and I could not be more grateful. So thank you for that. And thank you also for all of the emails with recommendations. Herbal things, again, without you guys even realizing it, that's the route I go, because those things work for me. Modern medicine doesn't, but all of those suggestions that you got, and I noticed that most of you said, I hope I'm not overstepping, and I get that, because I'm always the one busting through someone's, space. So don't ever think, when you've got something to offer someone, always follow through with that, because that's how we learn things. That's how we get ideas. That's how, when someone sends me something, I'll test drive it and I'll share it with someone else. So always do that. For some of you, if you're looking and you think you're sitting on nothing, sometimes you'll see a reading come through and it's like, oh, well, I don't have any gifts. Those are gifts. Those are beyond gifts, because those change people's lives. And I'll tell you that. I can tell you that just by what I've received here. So there you go. Okay. Secondly, I want to point out how I'm doing the readings for this month. All right. As you know, if you're following my channel, you know my readings are a little bit different. They're a little bit more deep. My goal, because that is what my lifetime is about, is empowering you to go and empower your life. So I can't give you a little reading. I need to give you a what's underneath it, so that when you come up against it, it helps you. You know why something's happening. It makes the shifts a little bit easier. Okay, so what I'm doing this time is that, and this is the first time also ever that I've done readings over, because they were so not sitting with me. And then I would get a lot of messages afterward, just that it was right. It wasn't, it shouldn't go that way. And I just was getting like a fog was coming over me when I was doing the reading, and I did too. And it was just like, no, it's not right. And I stopped and I meditated on it, and no, I shouldn't have pulled the trigger on those, and I didn't. What I'm doing here is I'm going down. I'm getting underneath what these changes that you'll be experiencing are for. Okay, they're larger, they're big, they're going to be, being reborn is such a cliche, but it's like you're going to be present with this one. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to come into this life like the new baby. You're going to come into the life with what you've acquired until now, good, bad, and indifferent. And you're going to step into your life, right? And you're going to do it in a way that could be terrifying. But what I want you to know is that relationships on all fronts, that's you and someone else. I don't care if it's your animal or whoever it is, right? It's not just one-on-one relationships. So please don't cap out on that. You're the other half of any equation in your life, okay? But some relationships are going to end. Some have taught you things, but now you go on to something else. Some jobs, some careers, some talents, some things you want to do, some things you want to eat, some things you don't want to eat, the way you want to look, how you want to how you want to step into yourself, how you trust your intuition, how you trust yourself. Your life is changing for each of you in a different way. You're dissolving something and you're evolving something. That's why the readings that I'm doing is dissolve, evolve, and what are my blessings in here, right? And remember, blessings can sometimes come in a holy crap that really hurt. Those are blessings too, okay? But what we're dissolving, where we're evolving. Okay, so that's how I'm going down into this reading. So you're going to realize when you come up against these things, which are probably going to be big game changers. I feel like karma's being paid off here. I feel like health issues are being leveled out in whatever way that is. I think that relationships, how we stand up, how we show up, the things we put our hands on, what we really want to do is changing. But it's changing at a holy crap instant level. Some of the things, right? Some of the things can be a little bit of a shock and an awe, right? Things like that. I know that people are saying, and I'm not pulling on Uranus in here, I'm just pointing this out, that I've noticed that Uranus is not, people are rah-rahing it. It's a liberation planet, and it is, but it usually comes in the form of like a lightning strike to your ass is what it comes, and it comes like in a blink of an eye. So it's a little terrifying, and I know that it's in a lot of these things, but I'm pulling here for you guys, okay, and how things are going to transpire. So when these things come along, or when a relationship is really just, it's toxic, it's not able to be mended, you're just not going to see eye to eye on things, it makes this a little bit easier to face that, right? Realizing that you're dissolving things and you're evolving with things. But my intention for this type of reading is to get under what you'll be experiencing starting this month, right? So use the other tarot readers that you're dealing with or that you're watching. Use those as well, how this will apply to me, but this will be like the master plan, right? As to why those things are happening. And then in December, I'll go back to the normal. I'll hit it as a normal reading, but I want you to have this blueprint as to how things, take what works for you and don't, and leave the rest. My suggestion for this month, okay, is to look at your rising sign first, because that to me is why you chose to be in this life now. Okay, then your sun and your moon and whatever else you choose to look at. Okay, however this fits for you, but for my readings, because I'm pulling on why is this person here? What is their intent in this life, right? Why did they choose to come here? Those were what I asked to be seen. Okay, so for this month, for me, for this channel, and for us, just please use your rising sign. Okay, so there you go. I hope this was short enough. I know you guys hate it, but again, I cannot ever thank you enough for what you did, and I'm beyond grateful. So there you go. Hi Capricorn, happy November. I hope you're doing well. Okay, what I feel from this reading first and foremost is there's a need for an internal balance. There's a lot of restlessness. There's just a lot of unsettled, restless energy here. But I feel that you may do this to yourself. Okay, so you're just being reminded of that. To just keep your health in balance here. Again, sometimes how we eat, sometimes how we think. Are you sleeping well? Are you keeping your thoughts in a great place, right? You want to keep them in a balanced place. I think, let's just go with balanced, I guess, more than health is balance, right? So just try to keep that. I think this is more mental than physical though, okay? I think in the past there may have been some kind of physical ailment, but I don't feel that that's here. I think now it's like a kind of a do-over where it's still at the mental state, and you want to get a hold of that before it hits the body, right? So that's what I'm talking about. That's kind of what I feel here. Okay, so what you're trying to dissolve here, you've got the Star card. I already know that what I'm going to tell you in this reading, there's nothing that I'm going to tell you that you don't already know, except maybe one thing, and it's pretty good. Okay, now what you're working towards, where you're evolving, is the Lover card. Do you see this? Do you see where I'm going here, where you're coming from and where you're going? Okay, now your 4 blessings in this. You've got transformation, the Death card. This is a new beginning, and I feel that a lot of this is just how you're mentally assessing things. It's just a flip of a switch there, okay? Now we've got the Empress, the Temperance, and the Emperor. And I want to show you, okay, where you're going from is the Star card, and where you're going to is the Lover card. You're being really asked to, and please, no negative, nothing is negative in here. I'm just pointing things out. There's a need in here to try to step away from yourself and realize that through relationships, you grow. Through relationships, you get the things that you're denying yourself. Okay, so it's moving away from, you know, it's all about me. And again, don't take this in a negative way, but it's kind of like we all have these parts of ourselves where it's like, you know, we have to push through things. It's like we need to just do this, and we don't have much time or use for what anyone else has to say. We're on a mission. Your life's mission, though, isn't just about you. Your life mission is about incorporating other people and balancing that. And that's where I think that they're talking about health. I just think that it's you want to get your mind in a place where it's not just about you. You know what I mean? It's about how we relate to other people and the balancing act of that. And we're never a one-man show. We need other people. Okay, and I don't think it's in a selfish connotation kind of way. I think it's just like we need to just do this. I need to just do this. But I think that in that mentality, you're being presented with a lot of relationships on all different forums. But I think they might be crumbling or really not be what they could be if you're not taking other people into account, right? The Lover card is a where you're evolving, though. It's long-term choices, but it's also about it's kind of like balancing. We're better together than apart, right? So it's kind of like what you're really, really craving on the inside, you're denying yourself just by not allowing, you know, other people to be in the equation or to be as vital. I think there's a mismatch between control and security. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I think it is. They're completely different, but I think that I look at my security through how much I can control my life, but life is not about that. I think that when you realize that another person has as much to offer into something as you, and when you begin to be the listener and the speaker, and it's a two-way dialogue, I think that your life, the universe just really opens for you. Okay, because one of your lessons too, and I really think that it's a karmic lesson here, is developing kindness and understanding and compassion towards other people. And I don't think you don't do it. I think that it's just you go through the motions of it, but still you've got in your mind you're going to do it your way. And the universe is just saying, if you just let that go, we're going to give you what you're looking for here. We're going to give you what you're trying to achieve, but you're going through the motions, but the universe knows that it's not like that on the inside. You're not there on the inside. But for appearance sakes, you kind of appear to be. But even your relationships, all kinds, they kind of know that, right? So a lot of times we shoot ourselves in the foot thinking we're going to show up and smile, and on the inside, but that's the energy. The energy on the inside is that proverbial, nobody sees it, but people feel it. People feel that you're not really approachable, or that, you know, you're not really into it, or they can't really read you, or it's a kind of a mismatch there. Now, with the Death card here, I think what you're doing is the transformation card. I think that you don't take offense to this, okay? I think that it's that I think that it could be a protective mechanism too, is kind of what I feel with this, is more about kind of like projecting yourself to be, we overcompensate sometimes when we've got inadequacies on the inside, or when we feel like we're really less than. And that's what I say, there's a big mismatch between the persona that you put on the outside and how you really feel on the inside. And this reading, I think, more is about, you can get whatever you need to get done in your life, but it's like you're not letting in the emotional part of your life that the universe is trying to provide you with fulfillment. You know what I'm saying? So if the inside was kind of like the outside, in other words, be in a conversation. Be in a conversation and be open to the fact that you might not know everything. You know what I mean? Be open to the fact that someone else might actually have something to offer of value that you could use. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking it is, because I think that you're shutting out the very love or the emotional quality that you want within other people. I think that you shut that out. It's kind of like the things you're claiming to want, it's like you're denying them by your actions. You know what I mean? So it's like you're saying you want relationships in, but there's that proverbial, I know it best. I'll only let you in so far because it still is all about me, right? And I don't think that it's done in a selfish way, but I think that it might just be some kind of built-in mechanism where it's I have to be the one-man show. But in relationships of all kinds, that's not going to work. And I think that might be where the mismatch is, right? Now, what I want to say, and that's what I think this is about. I think it's really just about it's kind of like you've got to start to feel with your heart. I would go that route. I would suggest that feel with your heart. And that's what I think it is. I think it's a new beginning in how you relate, or they're suggesting it's how you relate to other people needs to change. You have to have a little bit more trust in the universe, and you have to have a little bit more trust in the people that are in your surroundings. I think you've got relationships in here that could be so much better than they are if you just gave them a chance, like incorporated the other people. There's something in here too about a second child. There's a second child in here, or a niece or a nephew or somebody that is supposed to be teaching you something. And I think that if you just took this in or know what that's about, there's a lesson in that for you. So this child wasn't just placed in your life. There's a meaning for this. One of your other messages in here too is that you have been preparing lifetimes to meet this person who really, really needs your help. You know what I mean? Like it's a meeting of a lifetime, basically. And this is someone who needs you the most here. I don't know if it's this child or if it's someone else in here, but that's where I think the pivotal point would be that the aha, that in doing that, in interacting with this child or interacting with this person that needs you, you realize that inadvertently, without even thinking about it, you were giving and not even realizing that you weren't even in that equation. You were just giving, and you're going to realize that the floodgates of everything that you've ever wanted open up to you, okay? Because what's happening here is it's just a remembrance. These two are a dynamic duo. This could be a relationship too, absolutely. But what you're learning here is that kindness and understanding and nurturing takes patience, and it just takes it's a natural order of things, and that you don't need to force things, and that it takes you and nature and nurture to grow things, and that this right here, your life, is a reminder that there's two sides to the same coin here, and that's what you've got to be involved in. I think for you, your life could change on a grand scale if you took some pressure off of yourself and realized that the people in your surroundings have just as much to offer as you do. And I think that you'd form greater relationships. And that's what I really think that this is about. I think it's about mental health, how we think about things, how we feel about things. For you, I really think it's more about feeling, thinking with your heart and feeling with your heart. I'm not saying go willy-nilly, of course, but I'm saying that you're trying to bridge these things here. And the Temperance card reminds you that there's a natural order to things, and you've got to go slow, and you've got to have patience, right? And this is like, it can't be about me. It's got to be about we. Your whole reading is about going from the me to the we. And that's what you're supposed to be doing here. So that, I think, is pretty phenomenal here. Give me one moment. There's karma in here too. So there is a relationship in your life now, and this karma too, this is where I say, guys, karma in like when people are looking for twin flame relationships, it's not always romantic. This could be with your child. Your child, like I say, your message in here was that there's a relationship in your life where you've been preparing for this, where this person needs you, where you're going to be needed the most. That twin flame relationships absolutely are not just one-on-one romantic relationships. I have seen this in my own experience where those kind of relationships come in with a parent and a child. That could be a twin flame relationship, and it would be one where this kid would probably absolutely rock your world. It would not be an easy experience, but in maybe having to help this child or guide this child, the focus comes off you. It could be something like that. So that's what I think this is about overall, and that's what the energy is that I think you're going to be coming into. And maybe, like I say, that's the reason, you know, why you chose to take this life, is to help this person. You know what I mean? If it's not this child, it's a relationship that you're either going to be coming into or that's in your current life. It could be somebody new. It absolutely could. But this is a pretty strong, it's actually receptive energy and external energy. So it's a good exchange of energy. It's the bursting out of something, and it's the legwork to get it done, you know. And that's what it's about. And it's a new understanding about these things. Okay, it's a new understanding. It's kind of like I thought I knew what I really didn't know. And in thinking that, I now let everything in. And the universe is here to help you. So I hope that I helped you in some way. Again, this was a pretty straightforward reading, and it's just about trying to unmesh the confusion between control and security. Okay, so that's what I've got. I hope that I helped you in some way. If you need a private reading, please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you. Okay?